this is Shira, and today we will discuss the planet Jupiter through the sign of Pisces. Now, Jupiter will not be present in the sign of Pisces in 2021 for very long. It will transit Pisces from May 13th to July 28th of 2021, and it will turn retrograde or station retrograde on June 20th, 2021. Now, transiting Jupiter in Pisces will not go above the first 2 degrees. However, Jupiter will still have a presence in your birth chart. Now, Jupiter will transit Pisces for most of 2022, starting the last few days of December of 2021. And its presence will make a greater effect in your birth chart next year. However, this year, for approximately 2.5 months, we will get an idea of Jupiter's presence and how Jupiter will affect your life according to your rising sign. So, let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter rules expansion. It rules luck, prosperity. Jupiter is a philosopher. Somewhat like Saturn, Jupiter is the wise counselor, the teacher. Now, depending where you have Jupiter in your personal birth chart, in this case Pisces, for the brief 2.5 month transit will take effect in your life. So let's start off with the individual rising signs. Now, if your rising sign is Aries, Jupiter will be effective in your 12th house. And now, what does 12th house rule? 12th house rules the hidden. It also rules, somewhat like the 6th house, medicine. However, it rules surgeries, can rule confinement. It can rule the unknown. And because it's a water house, it can rule the occult. And it rules secrets. And because the 12th house is the house of Pisces, it can rule healing. So let's take a look at your 12th house with Jupiter for the next 2.5 months. So if you have Aries rising, this is a time when you will very likely do some soul searching. You will seek solitude, and it's a great time to meditate or take up a hobby where you feel where you can focus your energy in a positive direction. And once you do this, you will feel like you are opening a door to your imagination, to a sense of peacefulness, because Jupiter rules expansion. So you will be expanding your mind, so to speak. Great time for downtime. For some of you that wanted or need certain medical procedures or surgeries, you may find this is a time with Jupiter transiting your 12th house with Aries rising that you may think about certain medical procedures. Also, there may be certain secrets that come about now in your life where, say, they were hidden and now they come about and you feel a sense of relief or healing in your life because of secrets that will become revealed. On the other hand, you may choose to keep some secrets, whether it's secrets of your own or someone comes to you regarding something very personal and secretive. But remember, Jupiter seeks to expand our life, mostly in a positive direction. So for you, Aries rising, you will find a whole wealth of expansion and knowledge with that is connected with the 12th house. Solitude, secrets, maybe medical, healing. And you may feel at this time you receive a healing from some kind of disorder of some kind. And it's also a great time to study the occult, and you may seek therapists at this time, or therapy, or some kind of metaphysical knowledge. Well, medical knowledge as well. So it's a great time for all of the aforementioned with Aries rising. Now, if you have Taurus rising, okay, so with Taurus rising, you will have the transiting Jupiter in your 11th house. And 11th house rules what? It rules friendships. It rules organizations, and it rules also social media, charities, and so on. So for you right now that have Taurus rising, you may decide to expand on your friends and acquaintances. So you may find at this time that your circle of friends and acquaintances expands, becomes larger, and that may be in a more personal way, and that can be in a superficial way. In so many words, when Jupiter is in your 11th house, you will have many opportunities to socialize, and so therefore you may socialize with people that you've known for years, and you may socialize with people that are acquaintances, and new and interesting individuals will enter your life now, Taurus rising. Also, you may find yourself doing some volunteer work and that can be within your community or with charity, especially with Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces loves charity, loves healing, loves positivity, and compassion. So you may find with Taurus rising that you have a lot of compassion for many different people now from many different parts of the world and life. And so you may find getting out and about and connecting with many people is very rewarding for you, and it will expand your life. And because Jupiter is a teacher, you may have a lot to learn from some of these people that you come in contact with. Some of these people may teach you certain lessons. You will possibly gain knowledge additionally from some of these people that you will acquaint yourself with. And again, whether they're friends that you are already connected with or new friends and acquaintances. So you are going to be not just broadening your circle of friends with those of you with Taurus rising, but you will be broadening your knowledge as well. Now, on the other field of spectrum here, Jupiter in the 11th house is wonderful for wealth to some degree and luck. And you may find that your luck increases because, after all, the 11th house rules luck and hopes, wishes, dreams. This is a time when you may gamble, or you decide to gamble, and you find that your luck pays off very well for you. It's a great time, especially Taurus rising, if you have some original business ideas and you want to be independent. This is a great time where you will find that you may decide to start a business that's very creative, original, and because it's connected with other people, you may decide possibly to go in business creatively with other individuals that you meet up with at this time. So this is where your life will expand. Okay, so the next rising sign we have is Gemini, and Pisces for you, Gemini, is at the top of your chart, and it's in the 10th house. And what does this mean for you, Gemini? It means that your career will expand. And because Jupiter rules luck, you will be happy to know that you may not even have to try very hard, and opportunities come to you out of the blue, just like you don't even have to try. And you will find that your ambition is very strong now. You may feel like this is the time to make changes and expand on your career. You may decide that you want to take your career in a totally different direction. Now, if Jupiter is conjunct your midheaven, which is at the top of the chart, you may be seen as somebody who, believe it or not, also helps to expand others and their life. And with Jupiter in Pisces on the midheaven, you may be looked to as some kind of a guru or somebody who is admired spiritually, philosophically, somebody that people really want to emulate, somewhat of a philosophical leader if you will. Nonetheless, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for you to get ahead a lot, and people will just naturally tend toward you. And because Jupiter rules expansion, you could also decide that you want to have more than one career, especially since Pisces is a multiple sign. You may feel like, why have one career when you can have 2 or 3 careers? Nonetheless, it is a very rewarding time for you. And because Jupiter also rules the metaphysical, healing, you may find for certain Gemini risings that you may look to a career in the finer performing arts, because we're talking Pisces and it's ruled by Neptune, very expressive. Or you may decide that you find a career in the paranormal or the metaphysical, very attractive to you now. Whether this is something of a side hobby or secondary career, either way, you will find that which is of the unknown very attractive to you as far as some of your goals and aspirations. So this is going to be a very rewarding time for you with all your ambitions, goals, and aspirations. Gemini rising. So we then move to the next rising sign, which is Cancer. And Cancer, you have Jupiter in Pisces in your 9th house. Somewhat like Gemini rising, if you have Pisces on your midheaven, which is the cusp of the 10th, like Gemini, you will find that your career expands, and additionally, your reputation is at its best. People will look to you for philosophical or spiritual guidance. You may find you could get some kind of eminence, notoriety, fame to some degree. However, with the effect of Jupiter in your 9th house and the energy felt more strongly there, you may think about going back to school, because especially since Jupiter will reside in its own house, which of course is the 9th house. This is a great time for mental expansion. And it's not so much that you may decide to go back to school, but you may decide to expand your knowledge. Right now, you may decide to read up on different cultures or philosophies. It's also, yes, a good time to go back to school, university. That's going to be a thought as well. And right now, with Jupiter in your 9th house also rules legal issues as far as contracts. So you may decide to start a business and sign some important legal contracts right now. That could also mean you may decide to start a lawsuit that you feel could benefit you in the long run. Additionally, the 9th house rules foreigners. It rules foreign lands. And so you may come into contact, even if it's through the internet or social media or in person, with persons who are from a foreign land or You may even find languages, different cultures, languages very appealing to you right now. You may take up a language. And long distance travel, whether that's international or national, will be very appealing for you as well. And somewhat like the 11th house, you will come into contact from many different people from many different cultures and backgrounds. And that will also, for you, Cancer rising, be very rewarding. Uh, so your life is going to be very varied right now, also with a different number of people. And so the 9th house is of higher knowledge. You may get some training in a particular work area, starting a new job. And again, back to with Jupiter on your midheaven and you being very goal-oriented and career-driven, so to speak, any and all kinds of training for you, on-the-job training to expand your mind, to expand your knowledge in any capacity will be additionally very rewarding at this time. So, the next rising sign we have is Leo rising. Now, with Leo rising, your Jupiter in Pisces will be in the 8th house. And 8th house is kind of deep. It's about somewhat like the 12th house connected with the unknown or the unseen. And with Jupiter there, this is a great time for expansion with meditation. You may suddenly develop an interest in the occult or spiritual viewpoints. And this is a great time where you may expand your life regarding love relationships. It rules sexuality and intimacy, and you may find that that is beneficial for you at this time. Now, the 8th house also rules our resources. So you may find that you may gain with real estate, mortgages, and buying and selling right now regarding investments or trusts. You may be called upon to oversee a trust, or you may write a trust at this time. But somehow this will expand your life in a positive direction. And somewhat like the 12th house, because the 8th house is the house of Scorpio, this is a time for downtime for you as well, Cancer rising. And to go within, great time for meditation. And you may feel like some of your communications take on a very passionate feeling right now. You may find that those that you have been closest to take on a more intensity that you have not experienced before. And that's not so much romantic intensity, but those closest to you, you may feel like you are communicating more frequently with them or opening up and discussing deep personal stuff, maybe even taboo information right now. Nonetheless, on a more practical sense. Again, Leo rising, this is a great time for business and great time to expand on savings account, and all money matters. And you may find some of the investments also from your past may come in at this time, and you receive a bonus. And the eighth house rules government, and it rules taxes. There may be a benefit for you regarding your taxes and additional funds that may come in that were hidden, whether it be family, friends that you didn't know about, that somehow benefit you and expand your life. So the next rising sign we will look at is Virgo. And Virgo, Jupiter in Pisces is going to be in your natal 7th house. And what does 7th house rule? 7th house rules relationships, but it just doesn't rule love relationships. The 7th house rules business partnerships, love partnerships, and relationships. So naturally, with Jupiter in Pisces in your 7th house, you will see that you will have many opportunities for love. You may find that there are, for single Virgo risings now, you may find that you have many opportunities to date, or because the 7th house is more about relationships, you will have one very important relationship that becomes a focus for you now. And because Jupiter rules expansion, you may have an opportunity to commit. That may be to marriage or to a serious, say, live-in relationship, and or again, many opportunities to have serious yet rather joyful, because we're talking about Jupiter here, relationships that not only are available for you to commit to, but somehow these relationships will bring a great deal of expansion and opportunities into your life. You may decide that you want to go into business with a loved one that you're in a relationship with, or you could meet that certain someone through some kind of a joint partnership and find that you and this individual have much in common, and this starts not only a business partnership but a love relationship. And these individuals will teach you much about your life and expand your life. And that could also be financially because of some kind of a joint partnership or relationship. So it's expanding you in all partnerships. Now, because the 7th house is the legal house, you may find that some of your legal woes, if you have had some, come to an end now. And there is also a chance, somewhat like the 9th house, that you may begin a lawsuit that benefits you in the long run, or a lawsuit comes to a close that benefits you. But somehow you will find that you will benefit through any and all legal matters. So, the next rising sign we have is Libra. And Libra, Jupiter will be in your natal 6th house. And the 6th house is of work. It is of employers. And to some degree, the 6th house rules business independently. And with Jupiter there, you may decide at this time that you want to be more independent with business. You may decide to start a business and expand on your creative ideas regarding a business that you start now. And the results with Jupiter with your 6th house will very likely be very positive. You may find that your work right now is a very ideal place. So if there has been any issues with employers or the workplace, this will improve. And this also will expand your opportunities for employment. So if there has been a concern about finding a job, or for that matter, finding the right job, Jupiter in the 6th house will bring many opportunities to you, similar to those who have Jupiter in the 10th house. But this is more connected not so much with your career as it is personal job opportunities. And so you may be, say, stuck in a job that you don't want, and all of a sudden you find more than one job comes available that you can just virtually pick and choose from. And with any kind of employment, you could go from, say, the health field to something, say, connected with the arts. But there's also a chance right now that you, Libra rising, may also decide to have more than one job because it expands your life financially and because you get to pick and choose what you want. So you will find that anything goes with regards to work opportunities right now. And again, if there's been issues with coworkers or bosses, that should run a lot more smoothly right now. Now, because we are talking Jupiter in Pisces, Jupiter rules medicine and compassion. So there's a possibility that you may consider a career in the healing fields or in medicine. And the 6th house also rules like holistic or alternative forms of medicine and healing. And so these areas in your life may be very profound for you at this time. And somewhat like the 12th house, the 6th house rules healing and medical. So if there was an issue with medical problems or dietary concerns right now, this is the time that you may find that you want to begin a diet or find some alternative holistic medicine or alternative healings. And that can also deal with diet and exercise. We are expanding all areas here in the 6th house. You may begin an exercise regime that expands your life. For example, you might want to take up running and you find that this really helps well round your life altogether, mentally, physically. And the sixth house rules pets. So right now you may get a pet or be connected with animals in some way that is very rewarding to you and your life. So very good time for you, Libra rising. Now we're going to move to the next rising, which is Scorpio. Okay, so Scorpio, Jupiter in Pisces is going to be in your natal fifth house. And what does fifth house rule? Fifth house rules love, and romance also rules luck. And so you may find, similar to the seventh house, Jupiter, you may find right now, Scorpio rising, that you have a lot of opportunity in the dating field. For you single Scorpio risings, you may feel like you can pick and choose from a number of suitors. You may feel like you want to start going online and doing possibly some kind of online dating, or a lot of connections and fun connections, because the fifth house rules fun with those through your social media. And to some degree, the fifth house rules friends. So right now you're going to be not only taking time to possibly date and have a little fun, but you're going to be hanging out with your friends a little bit more. Maybe this is a time that you want to take some trips that add a little fun to your life, and take some travel adventures. It's a very lighthearted presence with Jupiter in your fifth house. Now, fifth house, somewhat like the 11th house, rules gambling. So you may feel like this is a time to gamble a little bit more, and games of chance will be very attractive to you. Playing the lottery, gambling, however that may be. And again, a lot of fun right now. You will be expanding your knowledge with those that come into your life, whether it's through dating, whether it's through friendships, and you will find that you learn and gain through knowledge through some of these individuals that enter your life right now, whether it's through fun and recreation or creativity. You will learn from people that want to teach you something about yourself through having good times and your creativity. Now is the time that you may decide to pick up that hobby, and who knows, maybe you will want to make that hobby, Scorpio rising, a career. And somehow these creative ventures will be very rewarding for you. You may find that you have some kind of latent talent, whether it be in sewing or it could be in the arts, expression, and Jupiter allows you to feel comfortable now to express yourself. You may feel like you have a lot to say, and now you feel comfortable speaking your mind. And not only are individuals that are coming into your life that teach you about fun and creativity that you will learn from, but you will also have a lot to teach other individuals about expression and style. This may include fashion right now. Some people may look to you as some kind of a style guru or fashion plate. And it's a great time to open up and connect with those people in your social media. And you may even start a creative venture connected with social media or the internet at this time. And to some of you, with Jupiter going through the 5th house now with Scorpio rising, you may consider starting a family at this time. Your family may expand for you personally, or you may welcome grandchildren into your family or adopt children, pregnancies. Jupiter is going to expand your life, Scorpio rising, in all these areas. Okay, so the next rising we will move to is Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, you will have Jupiter transiting your 4th house, your natal 4th house, Sagittarius rising. So what does this mean for you? Well, the 4th house is of family. So it's also the house of, well, the house, moving, real estate. So you may decide, Sagittarius rising, at this time that you want to buy or sell property. It's a great time. You may decide, actually, if you want to talk on the career zone, you may think about getting into a career in real estate or investing. Or investments may come to fruition right now, or the unexpected selling of property. You may get more than you ever dreamed of connected with real estate and investments, as well as a career in real estate and or investing. It's a great time. You will see, similar to the 5th house, an expansion in your family, but it's more with the 4th house with immediate family. Maybe a brother or sister, sibling will expand their family, and somehow that will affect you in a very positive light. And it's good right now for all repairs. And this is a great time, Sagittarius, for home renovations. You may find that some of those latent repairs that, say, you didn't have time for, now all of a sudden you not only find time to repair and renovate your property or properties, as it may be with Jupiter there, you may find with Jupiter's presence in your 4th house that you have a lot of brilliant creative ideas regarding renovation. And also the 4th house, somewhat like the 8th house, because it is a water house, is the house of Cancer. You may find that this is a great time for wills and trusts and to take care of any and all family matters. And for some of you, if you had some issues with family, right now with Jupiter's positive influence in your 4th house, you may find that some of the issues with family clear up now. And so there may be some improved communication between you and family members. And also you may find 4th house family, you may find that there is a lot of interaction with family, whether it be cousins, whether it be brothers and sisters, and you may find that there's family reunions now, getting together, expanding your lives, and finding out knowledge about family. And this can also include history, finding out about your family history and your background, and some very positive information regarding all your relatives right now. And also, you will find there will be some people from the past that are connected with you that somehow expand your life or appear on the scene right now. And family somehow will benefit you. So this is a good time for connecting, maybe forming businesses with family, and also you may consider making a move. So for those of you who feel like you're stuck, this is the time that you're going to move. Much more pronounced, very likely, as we go into 2022 with Jupiter moving into the higher degrees of Jupiter in Pisces, Sagittarius rising. However, even with the earlier degrees of Jupiter in Pisces, Sagittarius rising, you still may move at this time. Great time for expanding family and home. The next rising sign we have is Capricorn rising. And Capricorn rising, Pisces is in your natal third house. And the third house rules communications, and it rules communications of all types. That may be social media. It's also communications with people in person, over the internet. It also rules communication with writing, the written and the spoken word. So Capricorn, for this brief time, and of course as we go into 2022, this is going to be a time of immense communication. And third house, similar to ninth house, will bring you in touch with many different people from many different backgrounds. You may feel like with Jupiter's presence there that you are socializing so much you don't have time to sit down or stand still, because Jupiter in the third house is movement. So you're going to be moving around a lot, coming into contact with many people. And because Jupiter is a teacher, Capricorn rising, you will be learning much knowledge from many of these people that you come into contact. It may be a bit superficial knowledge, but nonetheless knowledge that you will learn from some of these acquaintances. And also, you will have much to teach people. This is a time where you may think about starting a blog. You may consider writing a book or starting some kind of communications, what have you, personally or on the internet. And what you say right now, Capricorn, will also expand other people's lives through the written or the spoken word. Somehow people feel like you are a guru at this time, because Jupiter is very wise. And in Pisces, in its own, the old ruler of Jupiter in Pisces, you will come across as a wise teacher, wise counselor. Also, this is a great time for you, Capricorn rising. You will find that you will want to learn. You may even look to some kind of training whether that's on the job training, but with third house, somewhat like the ninth house, it's about expanding your knowledge. So people are teaching you and you are teaching them. You may decide, again, somewhat like those who have Jupiter transiting the ninth house now, you may want to take up languages. And you may find that you want to expand your life with all kinds of different trades, or learning different training methods with regards to your job, or just any kind of interest that you may have now. Now, the third house also rules brothers and sisters. So you may find that somehow your life expands, or you have much to learn through your siblings. And if somewhat like the fourth house, there has been any kind of negative communication, or communication has not been very frequent with any kind of siblings, you will find perhaps right now you find some positive information out regarding brothers and sisters, or you have some information to tell them that will be very enlightening. Nonetheless, it will be a good time to connect with them. And the third house rules vehicles. You may feel like this is the best time to buy that car or truck that you have been wanting to get. And sometimes with Jupiter in the third house, if there's a breakdown with a vehicle, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, because you get something better and more reliable. Or you could have some repairs right now on a vehicle. So the next rising sign is Aquarius. And Aquarius, for you, Jupiter will be transiting your second house. And the second house is of our values. It's of money. And it is the house directly connected with finance. So right now, Aquarius rising, you may feel like you want to open up a bank account or a new savings account, do some investing, somewhat like the eighth house, and you will watch your money grow. This is the best house for increasing all kinds of money interests, whether it's investments, whether it's say cryptocurrencies, or anything. You could even buy and sell property, because the second house is of the house of Taurus. So this is a great time for you, Aquarius rising, where you will expand on all money and financial interests. And it may be a time where, say, some of your investments will come in right now unexpectedly. You may find that some of the investments that you had, whether it be real estate or stocks, what have you, are a bonus to you, and you get a return much greater than you had expected with Jupiter in your second house. Now, also, for those of you that want to communicate something very significant, this is a great time for you to speak your mind, because Aquarius rising, Jupiter in the second house, and the second house rules our speech. This is the time, especially with Jupiter in Pisces, that you want to possibly reach out to somebody and speak your mind. But speak your mind on a more compassionate level. You may feel like you've had a lot to say to someone and you haven't found the words to say, and Jupiter in Pisces in your second house will give you the insight and the words to speak. And that's not just to those closest to you, but in all situations. If you are somebody that is somewhat like a life coach, or you're an inspiration to other people, Jupiter in the second house will allow you to open up and communicate your thoughts. And people will listen to you because with Pisces, Jupiter, you're coming from a very compassionate, caring stance, and this is very positive for you. Now, second house also rules food. So interestingly enough, Aquarius rising, you may find food very appealing. You may find that there are people from different cultures or that have different interests with different kinds of food that open up and expand your life with different culinary interests. And this actually will be very rewarding for you. Some of you may, on one extreme, start a restaurant or something connected with food. And certainly, at the very least, you will find different kinds of food rather attractive, or foods that you hadn't previously tried are somehow expansive to your life. And you may look to maybe even having a business connected with food. And so all these areas are going to be very expansive to you, but at the end of the day, Aquarius rising, all your resources are going to increase exponentially right now. And on the other end of the spectrum, Aquarius rising, you may find that there are other job or financial opportunities that come about right now. Perhaps you may think about moonlighting or doing something on the side that increases your funds as well. And you may even get a raise at this particular time, Aquarius rising. Now, the final rising sign we have is Pisces, and Jupiter, Pisces rising, will transit your first house. Now, that is very powerful because the first house is our approach to life. It is our approach to those around us. So you may feel like you want to personally expand your life. You may want to travel and expand your life by going to different locales. And also because we're talking Jupiter in your first house, you may feel like you want to expand your life more personally. Your approach to how you express yourself to other people, because we're talking the first house here. You may feel like if you feel held back, or you feel like you haven't been able to express your opinions or to express the way you feel to other people because maybe you've had a fear of being held back. Pisces rising, Jupiter in your first house will make you feel good about yourself and very positive and very free to express your opinions to other people and to express your opinions in a very compassionate style. Pisces rising. And Pisces rising, you in particular will possibly find that you have a deep sympathy and kindness, compassion to those that are suffering right now. And somewhat like those with Jupiter through the 11th house, you may feel like this is a time that you want to be involved with charities or even friends, and you may be looked a pawn as a healer, as someone who is very insightful, very psychic. You will have a certain intuitive sense regarding those closest to you and your friends. And don't be surprised right now, not only do you have a lot to teach people about compassion and love, but you will also learn through other people right now, Pisces rising, about compassion, love, and kindness. And people will seek you out for your advice because you're Pisces rising, and Jupiter there is going to make you seem as if you are that certain someone that people can turn to vent, to have a shoulder to cry on. So you may find a lot of this going on in your life right now, that you are the person that people want to turn to express their sympathy and look to for sympathy right now, Pisces rising. Now, Jupiter in your first house, Pisces, also rules your appearance. And so you may find that you may want to change up your appearance, get that haircut or the other, and you may want to grow your hair or change something about your appearance that just really alters your life. Or it alters the way you express yourself or the way you feel. And somehow this will be very positive for you. At the very least, Pisces rising, you will be a great inspiration to other people. And also, Pisces rules the arts. If you were looking to express yourself artistically or musically, you may find that you are at ease right now expressing yourself in your career, especially if it deals with medicine or the fine or performing arts, healing, and so on and so forth. You may find that there is success right now in these endeavors. And to some degree, you may find, because so many people are coming to you to give them knowledge and to expand their lives as you are expanding theirs, you may find that there is a certain amount of notoriety with all your compassion and your very Pisces rising, impressionable nature. And with Jupiter there, it expands your imagination. So this is also why your career or possible aspirations with fine performing arts will be at its peak right now, because you are just so inspired and very psychical into the world around you. So as you can see, Pisces rising will be, no matter where you have it in your birth chart, Pisces rising, excuse me, with Jupiter in Pisces at this time will be very inspirational depending on what house you have Jupiter in Pisces, and it will expand your area of your birth chart in a very compassionate, imaginative, and very, very intuitive style. So even though right now Jupiter's transit is brief and only within the first 2 degrees at best, nonetheless, Jupiter, as you can see, no matter what your rising sign is going to change your life, certainly for the better, and with much in the way of sensitivity and compassion. If you'd like to get in touch with me, My contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.